All right, we're back. And
You didn't go anywhere.
all
You
right,
didn't go
we
anywhere.
didn't go anywhere. All right. So that
Little
was the first
journey.
that was the first trade from this level from this level, okay? Where it crossed over. It crossed over the sellers and buyers, okay? Definitely was in a trend. And it crossed over and it went down to here. So how do I know it, so how do we know that this level was a turnaround point? The turnaround point was I had already drawn this line from previous, right? We just went through this, right? It was from the prior days. The overnight was right here. That was the low of the overnight. That was our line. Right here on the open market during the daytime, during the open market, it hit that point, hit that trend line from the overnight trend line. Okay? And hit that trend line, and that's it. The sellers were done. The buyers were in control at this point. The sellers were in control here. The buyers in control here. Okay, it. I there's no way of saying for sure. It's still 50-50. Everything's 50-50.
I really wish you would stop offering probabilities.
So at this point, I keep going back. Okay, so at 10,
10:15.
10:15, we hit the trend line. At that point, there was a decision made in the market, okay, of the traders, not me, not this is this is the trading floor of of the big guys saying, okay, we're buying here. That's who moves the markets. Is the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, and and the other big traders. That's who says we're done. We're done selling. Time to buy. And that's all it is. It's just the trend line from earlier. From earlier. This is the trend line. I mean, it just followed through to the normal trading hours. Okay, at this point, this was the second trade. Okay, if you would have worked the trend line and bought here, and then you were really in the buyers were in control for 10, 15. Let's say
Did you
10.
buy here?
No, from 10:15, 10:45, 11:45. So for how many hours the buyers were in control? At this point right here, let's just let's put this here. How can I move this?
Maybe we ought to pause so you can get to know your software.
Everything can be edited out. Actually, don't do that. That's annoying.
All right. At this point, let's try and move this. Oh my god. At this point right here. All right? The buyers and sellers definitely took a turn. Okay? The buyers stepped in. That's the green. The sellers just walked away. Right here, it spent a whole hour of consolidation right here, right? I had no idea which way this was going to go. The only indication of which way this is going to go is the green and red, right? Buyers and sellers. And at this point, at 10, at 12, this was 12 o'clock. At this point, so this was this arrow right here I put the price line, which is the dotted blue line, is showing you where the sellers came in. Okay. And at this point, so the sellers
It's a
came.
little low. Maybe you should have put it.
No, the blue dotted line. Okay.
The
This was
sellers
the first trade.
The sellers came in 15 minutes earlier.
No, but there was nothing proven on that. There was nothing show me right, but it could have came down here and went back up.
I
Okay,
see.
at that
Okay.
point.
All right.
I don't
get you.
know.
The volume of buyers
Right.
was not significant
Right.
until
this point.
Until that price point.
Until this price point. And I knew for sure at this point it was going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
240, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point we knew that it hit the trend line. We knew it was going to go up. And we knew that it was going to hit this price point because that's when the difference was made of the buyers and sellers. Now at this point, it hit that price point and traded for a full hour, consolidating at that point. I don't know which way it's going to go, up or down, right? From this point, it just consolidated. All we know for sure is at this point right here, it went above that dotted blue line that says the sellers are done. We know that because it consolidated on a sideways angle. Sellers were done. If the sellers were not done and the buyers were if the buyers were done and the sellers took over, if the sellers would have made this go back down again. But because the buyers were fully in control at this time, at this whole period, they were like, we're going to keep buying. We're going to keep buying. We're going to keep buying. At this point, as soon as it crossed the dotted blue line, and as soon as this
volume of buyers started increasing significantly.
Right. The red and green line crossed over significantly. And then at this point right here, your trend line starts moving up. You know, buyers are in. That's who's trending this market at this point. The buyers are trending this market at this point.
Did you make your trade here?
This is where Andre, where did you make this trade? Come here. Andre made this trade. Andre, where'd you make this trade? Do you remember? It was 12.
Right there.
You made it right here?
Right there.
And it went up to 250 and you sold it right here?
Right there. And then it went down a little bit. And then see this hump it did? You see the wave-like thing?
Right. So Andre made this trade right here when the trend line started going up and he noticed it. The green is above the red. The trend is you're over your resistance point. Let's make this let's put another, say something. Let's make another
trade.
I am so annoyed that you are not describing this trade in greater detail right now.
The blue dashed line is the resistance because that's where sellers stepped in. The blue line is the resistance, so that's where sellers are done. If it goes above this blue line from previous hours to the forward into the future, this is where we know that something significant is going to happen, right? So Andre bought it here and he sold it here.
When he bought it at 248.
He bought it at 248.
And he sold it at 250.
And he sold it at 250, correct.
Because in the span of basically a half an hour, maybe less. Actually, very much less. Since
correct.
From 12:05 to 12:20. So in the span of 15 minutes.
Right.
It moved 2 points.
Right.
Is that the correct terminology? Points?
Yes, it moved 2 points. Yes, he realized that something significant happened right here. It is above this resistance point.
How much money did he make?
$30.
It's not bad for a 14-year-old.
From this point to this point, it was $30. It started to go back down, and so he got worried that it might. But
I'm sorry, he's not 14. I didn't say that.
but the the red and green is still high. The trade is still going on at this point. The 20 simple moving average, it just touched it and started to keep going up. At this point, he could have went. The trade really was like from this point. The trade was from.
You're criticizing your son's profitable
No,
trade.
I'm not. I'm just saying the trade really was from this point up to up. This was the trend line.
Did you make another transaction today?
Yes.
At what time?
At 3:50. So we got a long ways to go on.
I gotta be honest. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get there with you.
So the trade at this point was right. This trade could have stayed with this trade up until here.
Take us to 3:15.
All right.
I want to hear about your trade.
This was the second trade of the day. You knew at this point that the market was going to go up. Okay.
3:15. What was your trade?
I am just showing you.
We're done. We're good. Scroll forward and start talking about your next trade.
No, the exit point is just as important as the entry point.
You're losing your audience.
Amanda, can I explain to you?
We're on the clock, and I want to hear about your next trade. That's
no,
how you got me into
I need
this.
to explain to you that the entry point is just as important as the exit point, because if you close out your trade too soon, you miss your opportunity to make more money.
All you can do for me is demonstrate where you did that.
And I'm trying to show you the demonstration.
You didn't do it there. You're using hindsight. That is a fictitious scenario.
I'm showing you technicals of where
I am
you should have
in your actual trades.
Amanda, I am showing you technicals. I need to show you the trend lines.
I've been brought here under false pretenses.
I just need to show you one thing, Amanda, before we move on, okay? Can I just fix this? All right, if we would have put our line from the time he bought to the second time that it went down and started going up, okay, we could see that the trend line was intact for a good 1, 2, 3 hours. Okay. The trend line was intact. So the trade right here, you see how, it topped up here, and it might have been a good sell. This would have been a good sell, and this would have been but the point is that you were already, once you bought here, you were already in the money. So that was the second trade, okay? Right there.
Not your second trade.
Well, it could have been, no, it could have been Andre's second trade, but it wasn't my second trade, no. Okay, from that point on, from 1:45 p.m., okay, to, what time was this? 15:30. 3 o'clock, 3:30, okay? From 1:45 to 3:30, it's traded sideways. Okay, there was no trade going on here.
All right,
okay?
hold on 1 minute. Let me look at this.
What do you?